as we were walking down that timeline, it was to your point, I had the opportunity to share some time with Jamie, but then walking back down the road, one of my favorite stops on our path was Camp Home. I thought maybe you could share a little bit about that.
Love Camp Home. Like I was telling you, I wanted a piece of the farm. You know, when I was 18, I talked with my parents, subdivided off a little piece of the field next to the house. And I intended to build a house there. But when I was 20 years old, I started building a barn. So trees were cut down locally that belonged to us, and we were able to bring in a portable mill and build this little barn. And it was just a storage place at the time. But, you know, we love barns out in Madison County. It just evolved into a place to camp, and it evolved to a place to have our snowmobiles and our toys. And then when my kids were little, we camped there in a tent, and we just, you know, we had our fires and our marshmallows and the whole 9 yards. And at some point, you know, I added on to the barn and made it a little bit bigger. And Megan was a big part of it. You know, we'd bring what we need and cook our hot dogs and just really turned it into something special. And at one point, the weekend was wearing on, and it was a time to decide, do we go back home or do we stay at camp? And I asked the family, hey guys, what do we want to do? And my son Lucas could talk, but he had that little kid voice, and he just said, let's go to Camp Home. And he, you know, he wanted to stay at camp, but it felt like home to him. And the name stuck, and Megan caught onto that and painted this beautiful, you know, it had an old piece of barnwood, and it got the name Camp Home in 2014. So it's just it's a very special place. And again, just it's right in the middle of that farm feel on Hardscrabble Road. We just, you know, our hearts are there.